Good morning, beloveds. One, I apologize ahead of time about my allergies. Two, I got back on my bike today. It's been a month. And I admit that I rode down that street with a little trepidation, but it was important. One, I'm finally the two little puncture wounds are finally healed enough that I'm not worried about tearing them open. And two, it's Halloween. So happy Halloween, or Blessed Samhain, however you choose to celebrate it. Um, and a couple of the houses in the neighborhood next to us really go all the way, and I wanted to see their displays. So, and the easiest way to do it is on the bike. So I got back on my bike today. It was good. All right. I took 2 weeks off of everything, and then went for started walking last week, and this week was the week that I was like, okay, I'm getting back on the bike now. All right. And I had incentives, so like I said, Halloween houses. Okay, it is October 31st, as I said, happy Halloween. Our title is The Lighted Path. The first quote is, God is light, and in them is no darkness at all. That is 1 John 1:5. Illumination will come as people more and more realize their unity with the whole, and as they consistently endeavor to let the truth operate through them. And that is The Science of Mind, page 343. A simple hymn speaks with great consciousness. Silently now I wait for thee. The world we inhabit is seldom silent, and if we wait until there is external quietness, we may wait a long time to find the moment in which we can meditate upon the presence of God. We can, however, choose to be still within ourselves, thereby allowing the inner voice to be heard. Today, ready, my God, thy will to see. When we become still, we provide the atmosphere for God to speak to us and to make known our path. We can prepare ourselves to see God's direction for our lives. When we let go of anxiety about any situation, when we listen and trust rather than worry, we recognize our unity with the power which provides every answer. Open my eyes, illume me, Spirit divine. As we realize our oneness with God, we see with spiritual eyes. We know the truth of our identity and see past our outer appearances, which seem to separate us from God and each other. No one can duplicate the contribution we make to life through our gifts and abilities. As we experience this magnificent awakening, we are enlightened. We allow the light of truth to shine in and through us. We need never again be in the darkness of despair or hopelessness. As we allow the light of God to illuminate our ideas, our lives, every moment. I know that God is the light of my life. I preserve the place of perfect quiet within me and see the shining way. I am thankful for this divine direction, and that is Jean Anderson. Okay, so let's talk about the monkey mind for a minute, because that's exactly what she's talking about. Those of us who are really good at procrastination understand the power of waiting until. It's like we wait until everything is perfect to do anything. And by that I mean it can be anything. We don't procrastinate about everything. But we say, okay, well, when this specific set of conditions happens, then I'm going to do this, whatever it is. And yet that specific set of conditions almost never happens, which then means we never do whatever it is that we said we were going to do. And it is an excellent way of putting off doing things that we don't want to do, don't think we can do, don't have the confidence that we can do. And a lot of times it's that last one. We don't have the confidence we can do it. We don't believe in ourselves that we can do it. So we put up these impossible conditions that we have to meet to do whatever it is. All right. I'll give you an example. falling in love. Well, I'm not going to fall in love until my house is perfectly clean and not a speck of dust. I'm not going to fall in love until I weigh a certain weight and until my hair looks a certain way. And, I've got the perfect job. And I work these specific set of hours. And so I can set up all of these limitations, that mean I'm never going to fall in love. Okay. If I have to wait until I'm a perfect weight to fall in love, well, all right. If my house has to be spotlessly clean for me to fall in love, that's never going to happen. I can tell you that right now. As much as my partner tries, I'm just a little too messy for that. Thankfully, this is not a condition I have to worry about. I've already done the whole falling in love thing. And thankfully my partner puts up with me. 'Cause sometimes it's definitely putting up with me. That's the good thing about love. So, that's that monkey mind. It's like, that's that procrastination. If we have to wait until everything is perfect, and when I say perfect, I'm in that way, I don't mean whole, which is the way Reverend Jesse uses perfect. What I mean is flawless. That was a very abusive word growing up, perfect. So it took me a long time to own that word. So if the conditions have to be flawless for me to do this, so if the conditions have to be flawless for me to meditate, if the conditions have to be flawless for me to treat, it's never going to get done, because the material world is messy. That is one of the charms of the material world, is it's messy. But it's also one of the most frustrating things about it. It's messy. And so when we are trying to live a spiritual life and we are trying to do it flawlessly, the material world is going to get in our way every time. But here's the cool thing about a spiritual life. It's not about being flawless. It is absolutely not about being flawless. A spiritual life is about looking around with open eyes and recognizing it's all God. It's all God. And because it is all God, then where it is messy, we have the power to do something about it. That we don't have to wait for conditions to be flawless to take the reins and do something about whatever it is. And that's what she's talking about. It's like, yes, the spiritual world is messy, or the material world is messy. And if we wait until the material world is perfect, we will never live a spiritual life. So the goal of spiritual practice is, one, to practice in the messiness so that we get good within ourselves, so that we create that spiritually quiet place within ourselves that we can go to no matter what is happening in the material world. And when we can create that place within ourselves, then we can stop putting all of these limiting conditions on ourselves for all of the other things that we want to do in the material world.
Surprise!
We recognize where our power is. And where our power is coming from. And it's not coming from the material mess. It is coming from the spiritual life that we have put too many conditions on. And so I would suggest to you the mission today, and this is a good day to do it, with it being Halloween, because we talk about the veil being thin. Well, that's one of the things that Jesse talked about yesterday. There's not really two worlds. We're not living two lives. There's not a spiritual life and a material life. We are living our spiritual life in the material world. That's the two worlds. So the mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to take the limitations off our spiritual life. Don't say, when this happens, I'm going to do this. Start working on that now, whatever that is. It can be one thing, it can be multiple things, but whatever that is, start eliminating those conditions that you have put on it. If you're an excellent procrastinator like me, well, when I meet these conditions, I'm going to do this. Well, start eliminating those conditions so that you start working on that. Your spiritual life is already perfect. Your spiritual life is already whole and complete. Your spiritual life is merely waiting for you to take it up. All right. And we get caught up in the material world, and that's okay. Do not beat yourself up about getting caught up in the material messiness. Don't. Just take up the reins of your spiritual life and start living your life in the material world. And see if it doesn't change the way you walk through the world. Start eliminating those material conditions that you have put on your spiritual life. When this happens, I'm going to do this. As Elsa says, let it go. Let it go. The material conditions that we put on our spiritual life, there's never going to be a flawless time. So be flawed and fabulous, and go live your perfect life. Go live your whole life. Go live your complete life. Go and live in the wondrous messiness that the material world is, because you are carrying that perfect spiritual life within you. Because perfect means whole and complete. It includes all of the juiciness. All right? So that is the mission today. That is the lighted path. That is what we are looking at. We want to look at the material world with spiritual eyes and see that it is all God, and that we have the power to affect that which we do not like. And we can change it or walk away from it. Because there's both. Sometimes we have to look at the material mess and say, what is, in this situation, what is mine to do? And sometimes what is ours to do is to pick up the pieces and start putting things back together. And sometimes what is ours to do is to treat from a distance and to go about our business. Okay? So just because you walk into a mess doesn't mean you have to take it up, but it does mean that you have some power to affect it. That's Emma's. It's like you will never meet someone that you cannot help. All right? But sometimes the help is simply holding space for them to know who they are. Don't take on project people. All right. You are the only project person that you need. Okay. All right. So that is the mission today. The other mission is the same mission I give you every day. She talked about spiritual practice. And I say the spiritual practice of doing something loving for yourself, something kind for yourself, doing something compassionate for yourself. Don't wait for the perfect conditions to do that in. Because by doing this spiritual practice of doing the loving, kind, compassionate thing, you are creating those conditions. You are creating that soft, still place within yourself. You are being kind. You are being conscious. You are being compassionate. You are being loving with yourself by creating that space within yourself. It already exists. You just got to wear a path to it. And that's why I say do it every day. Because the more often you go there, the more clear the path is. And the more clear the path is when the monkey mind gets crazy with you, then you can then you can go, nope, you know what? I know where I'm going to go. And I'm going to go take a moment to my spiritual self. And you're going to walk that path. It is about self-care. It is. It is absolutely about self-care. I am a big believer in self-care. Because you can't pour from an empty cup. As they say on the airline, put your oxygen mask on, then help your neighbor. Okay? But it's also about joy. It's about being able to look around at this wonderfully messy, juicy material world and seeing the God back of it all. And saying, there is joy here. And I bring the joy. It is about all of that. So it is about creating that, and I say it, habit. Habits are good things too. You know, a well-worn path to the quiet place of your, to the source of your own being. That is a habit worth having. It creates a first response. And we talk about that. Your first reaction is what you've been taught. Your first response, that's who you really are. All right? So, and the difference between a reaction and a response is consciousness. And I say it every time, and I mean it every time. All right. So it looks like taking a walk. It looks like taking a nap. It looks like getting back on that bike and riding past that house. It looks like going out and enjoying the Halloween sights. It looks like enjoying the cool weather while we've got it. It looks like taking a break when you need it. That's it. Be loving, be kind, be compassionate with yourself. You're a beloved child of God, and you deserve your own love, your own kindness, and your own compassion. And the more often you practice it, you create that bank so that when you meet people that need a little extra, you got a little extra. Okay. I don't know if I ever said that the reading was by Jean Anderson, but that's who the reading was today. So the other things, do something to engage your mind and your body, whatever that looks like for you. Drink plenty of water. Hydration is super important. You will feel better hydrated. Make sure you get that early in your day bright light. The sunrise was a bit interesting this morning. I have a couple of Instagram posts that I need to do, so I'm going to have to squeeze out some time to do that today. Good morning, baby. Come here. It's empty. Come on. Gabby came in. And I need to bring the stool back for her. Oh, she's 17. Okay, I've been distracted. So, in the words of Ernest Holmes, open the windows of your soul, allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around you, all the time. Because it is a state of mind, it is a state of consciousness. It is about that spiritual life. It is about that spiritual lens. It's about being able to look around at the messy, juicy material world and seeing God at the back of it all the time. So take him as advice. Look for the good and praise it. Look for the good and praise it. All right. Social media. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I am the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. Check us out. In fact, one of the things that I need to go do is publish the Sunday Talk. Make sure that it is ready to go. And yeah, email info@creativelife.org if you want to know what's going on. There are all kinds of cool things. We had a nice little Samhain blessing at the center yesterday. That was wonderful. And so all that stuff is in the email. It's a constant contact. You get it every early Friday morning. It comes out at 3:00 in the morning. This is the benefit of scheduling. Someday I'm going to learn how to do that. All right. So here's where I get to tell you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, an enchanting day, a magical day, a spooky day, a Halloween day, a candy day. Enjoy your trick-or-treaters day. Enjoy trick-or-treating day. A good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough just as you are. You are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased and well represented. I say it every day, because it's the truth. The truth with a capital T. All right, beloveds. So Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you around 9 a.m. tomorrow. And I'm sure I will have wonderful stories of amazing trick-or-treaters. Because we're going to be here. We've opted not to go to the movies. And so we'll be here for the trick-or-treaters. And we'll see how many we get. And yeah. Take care of yourself, know that you're loved, and I will see you next time.